There was an interesting observation by Jane's Intelligence that around 2 decades back, the quantum of open source intelligence was just about the size of the salt one may sprinkle on its meals. Today, it represents around 95% of all cyber intel gathering and analysis driven research. We may also add the AI enabled algorithmic analysis to that trend for better, valuable, and vivid insights. Now, the deficiencies of generative intelligence range from the impairment observed by virtue of human overseers, maybe on account of enforcing guardrails. So, a recent example that may be cited in this case is the prompt to know what percentage of the global annual defense budget of countries is allocated towards the development and improvement of state of art, versatile, adaptable, both centralized and decentralized, distributed, edge computing powered autonomous weapon systems and platforms, lethal autonomous weapon systems and platforms, unmanned uncrewed aerial vehicles, unmanned uncrewed ground vehicles, etc. Also the relevant government and military policies towards this, the approach at least. I mean, what is the approach at the state level? So the prompt couldn't fetch straightforward answers or succinct analysis based on the facts from the surface web, at least so far. Maybe it must have improved in the coming days or maybe over a week's time, but so far it couldn't fetch a straightforward answer or generate succinct analysis based on facts from the surface web. So here we can clearly see that machine-based multimodal generative intelligence marked the sensitive nature of the above defense technology by virtue of being sensitive, even if the information was available on the surface web. But on the contrary, there's plenitude available on the surface web through absolutely official and legal channels. Second instance that can be cited is the query on advanced integrated modular battlefield portable battlefield management systems come ecosystems and the military metaverse. Again, a whole lot of direct information is available in the form of detailed reports on the surface web through absolutely official and non-classified channels, sources. So we believe that human cyber intelligence and defense analysts will need to pre-process this information in tabular arrays or grids for training multimodal generative AI LLMs. Also mapping the current cyber threat landscape through navigation of the web portals, reports, and documents. An order of importance for learning through data ingestion, AI, artificial intelligence, large learning, and large language models prefer not dense. They do not prefer dense but significantly plain, simple English content. The whole lot of languages, vernacular, regional languages, national languages coming up. But here we are only talking about cyber intelligence, so it prefers not dense but significantly plain, simple English content. So, because that day, since I've written this in advance, so that day I was reading the zombie noun apocalypse in the military defense doctrine writing. We were deliberating time and again over the zombie noun apocalypse in military defense doctrine writing. So to begin with, what LLMs need right now is well organized and paraphrased linear textual notes. Next in order of importance, it prefers pre-processed information neatly organized in tabular arrays and grids. As we all know that spreadsheets and tables formats power the world's most significant and important both legacy and cloud-based software as a service ecosystems. Even the relational database management systems rely on this methodology for data ingestion, data input and output, and even you can look at the Microsoft Office Excel and free and open source LibreOffice, Google Sheets of Google Docs, etc. So tabular arrays, table format, spreadsheets, they are everywhere and they power really significant complex analytics. I mean, they make it easy to understand and do a whole lot of complex mathematical statistical computations. As we all know, by virtue of US DoD CDAW, that artificial intelligence is nothing but machine learning, which is statistics at scale. So, establishing associations and links between keywords, key concepts, or pattern recognition remains a human analyst's job, just like we do for our mind maps. Self-aware autonomous cyber defense systems. Uh, Self-aware autonomous cyber defense systems should be in a position to conduct open source intelligence operations and gain credible insights into both the surface and dark web to defeat advanced persistent threats and malicious actors. Now, simplifying the entire complex process of training cyber intelligence and open source intelligence, specific AI models can theoretically begin right on our smart devices. Now, this is new. Simplifying the entire complex process of training cyber intelligence models and open source intelligence specific AI models can theoretically, so far theoretically, begin right on our smart devices. Let's say if one is on the Android ecosystem and focusing on Google Chrome while safe browsing under enhanced protection, which offers real time proactive cyber defense against threats. Now, the data gets teleported to servers of Google. This precisely can be used to build, let's say, a cyber threat intelligence model, especially for cyber analysts who choose or opt to do so. Now, not confusing this with the privacy concerns, so on and so forth. Let's not confuse this, because a cyber intelligence analyst or a researcher has opted for this, has chosen to do this. So a whole lot of cyber intelligence training for multimodal generative AI learning, large learning models, large language models, can take place at the elementary browsing level itself. Google DeepMind through project we started the video with Google DeepMind just to elaborate on this concept. So Google DeepMind through project Android ENV learns from human operator sessions on Android gaming, navigation, maps, calculations, flight booking and reservations, etc., etc. So also have the Android, Linux, Chrome OS, Microsoft, Windows, and Mac OS, iOS, etc. granular operating system level, there are a whole lot of settings that can be toggled on for a lot of machine learning to take place through sharing of intelligible data, analytics, and insights, not for the privacy conscious, for those who wish to build AI models, robust AI models, specific models, cyber intelligence learning ecosystems. Even Windows and Mac OS, iOS can benefit from this learning pattern, yeah, as I've already mentioned. So so there's a whole lot of learning pattern for cyber intelligence analysts who opt to train specific LLMs right from their smart devices, augmenting the power of cloud computing. We also understand that tremendous amount of learning happens at the granular elementary operating systems intelligence level. We see machine device learning for relevant people, app, and content suggestion, from app usage times, usage patterns, screen time, personalization of keyboard usage, statistics for corrections, and accuracy improvement. We also see audio snippets donation in the keyboards itself. So also the option to donate your audio snippets. So we were talking about the original equipment manufacturers previously. So you see the OEM manufacturers and the OS non-encrypted cloud backup services, even they can have an effect on the user experience and system stability improvement programs, because there are system logs, error analytics, bug reports, anonymous analyzation of general statistical data for improvisation and future development of product design. A device advertisements ID for ad performance measurement, etc. So all this is happening at the very granular OS level. Elementary analytics, let's call them elementary analytics. So therefore the computer device performance and diagnostics are directly proportional to improvement in the battery life and system application stability. Now we know, as AI enthusiasts, that data aggregation is a boon for AI-enabled application development. Intelligible data ingestion through decentralized sources does really have a single point of convergence at data-strong cloud servers. Therefore, theoretically, theoretically again, hypothesis, crafting and designing individual AI learning models custom built and fine tuned over specific preferences is a distant possibility over the cyber electronic horizon. And this will invariably and significantly and eventually trickle down to offline AI on because we see on-device AI with on-device AI augmenting the power of edge computing and CPU, GPU, NPU. So billions of parameters just for those who do not want any real time. So this is for those who do not want any real time human overseeing and skewing of generative AI's results in real time or any interference, human interference. So therefore, we also have machines which are already augmenting the capability of onboard on-device edge AI through powerful combination of system on chip, CPU, GPU, NPU, the central processing unit, graphics processing and neural processing unit, especially the new gaming series laptops powered by NVIDIA ARMS, Snapdragon ARMS, Intel's and Samsung Exynos chips, etc. So, securing open source operating system also is a part of this. So, securing open source operating system and software will also remain a major challenge. We know that military intelligence grade operating system distros, variants, and software component derivatives must in future achieve immutability. So, finally, the last scope for improvement in this domain of cyber and science based strategic. Yes, see, the last scope, let's say the upper ceiling for the improvement in this domain of cyber and science based strategic communications. So, this is the last scope. What is the last scope? The last scope of the upper ceiling for AI to hit is the domain of cyber and science based strategic communications, which I definitely believe that humans are better at. Let's presume that some multimodal generative AI starts learning this trait by analyzing zombie nouns, as we previously discussed, and dense military cyber intelligence defense spending. So that's what multimodal generative AI will have to look at. Learning this trait. How do you learn this trait? By analyzing zombie nouns, dense literature, military doctrines, and cyber intelligence work, analytics, and analysis. So, also at some point, AI powered computer vision will have to see, by virtue of ocular augmentation, the elementary world of subatomic particles, dark energy, and dark matter, establish inroads into the field of noetic philosophers and SETI scientists, come explorers. Uh, so, at some point, AI will have to look at computer vision. It will have to see, by virtue of ocular augmentation, the elementary world of subatomic particles, dark energy, and dark matter, establish inroads into the field of noetic philosophers and SETI scientists come explorers, because ultimately all science and mathematics began through philosophical abstractionist ideals and principles. Philosophical abstractionist ideals and principles, the mother of all science and mathematics. So, this mammoth supercomputing pod, AI multimodal LLMs, will also have to connect human precognition, clairvoyance, psychokinetics, telekinesis, etc. to connect deeply deeply understand human encephalon based cognitive abilities and consciousness. So it'll have to establish connection between a human's ability to precognitate, clairvoyance, psychokinetics, telekinetics, to deeply understand human encephalon based cognitive abilities and consciousness, computational neuroscience, neuroinformatics, and brain simulation. So this is all that AI neural networks are already looking at. So we know that neural simulation for the fastest super quantum computing power will have to be mapped. So when we talk about neural simulation, uh, as we have been seeing in the development of new neural network semantics, we know schematics. We know that the fastest supercomputer with the computing power will have to be mapped. So To simulate a brain, you will have to map the power of a the power of a quantum computer, sorry, you'll have to map the power of a quantum computer to simulate the human brain, just one human brain, and you will have to scale it on a logarithmic and exponential trend line. Okay, you will have to graphically scale it on a logarithmic and exponential trend line. So one possible approach to achieving artificial general intelligence, is whole brain emulation, from brain simulation to brain emulation. So now we have a brain model which is built by scanning and mapping a biological brain in detail and then copying and simulating it on a computer system. On another, let's say another computational device, the simulation model must be sufficiently faithful to the original so that it behaves in practically the same way as the original brain. So whole brain emulation is discussed in computational neuroscience and neuroinformatics. In what context? In the context of brain simulation for medical research purposes. It has been discussed in artificial intelligence research as an approach to strong artificial intelligence. Neuroimaging technologies that could deliver the necessary detailed understanding are improving rapidly. And we know that futurist Ray Kurzweil, in the book The Singularity, is near. Futurist science fiction futurist Ray Kurzweil, in his book The Singularity is Near, predicts that a map of sufficient quality will become available on a similar time scale to the computing power required to emulate it. So parallelly, we are mapping it graphically, parallelly, logarithmically, and exponentially. Then the trend line, the augmentation and exponential growth in the computing power of quantum machines and a single human brain, from simulation to emulation. So for just low level brain simulation, a very powerful cluster of computers or GPUs would be required. Let's give some numbers. It's the enormous quantity of synapses with the human brain. So we'll have to map it arithmetically. We know that there are around 100 billion neurons, and that have an average of around 7,000 synaptic connections or synapses. So what we are seeing is the average human brain, a low level brain simulation. What level of cluster computers or GPUs would be required? That is what we are looking at. So we know that there is enormous quantity of synapses within the human encephalon. There are around 100 billion neurons with an average 7,000 synaptic connections, okay, to other neurons. So the brain, let's say, of a 3-year-old child has about 1 quadrillion synapses, 1 quadrillion. This number declines with age, stabilizing by adulthood. So this may vary for an adult, ranging from 100 to 500 trillion synapses. So to estimate this, an estimate of the brain's processing power based on a simple switch model for neural activity is around 100 trillion synaptic updates per second, or SUPS. So it comes to around 100 trillion for a machine. It comes to around 100 trillion synaptic updates per second, known as SUPS. Therefore, in 1997, going back in time, Kurzweil looked at various estimates for the hardware required to equal the human brain and adopted a figure of 1016 computations per second. And for comparison, computation was being equivalent to one floating point operation, a measure used to rate current supercomputers. Then 1016 computations would be equivalent to 10 petaflops achieved in 2011, while 1018 was achieved in 2022. He used this figure to predict the necessary hardware that would be available sometime between 2015 and 2025 if the exponential and logarithmic growth in the computing power progresses at the time of writing. I mean, at precogitating from the year 1997. Only then we can see the emergence of self-aware artificial general intelligence and singularity of sentience. All right, so again, moving on to more unexplored regions, this will definitely and inadvertently and invariably lead to the tremendous evolution in the field of autonomous cyber defense systems. I mean, self aware AGI, self awareness of self conscious AGI. Okay, so it will inadvertently and invariably lead to the tremendous development of autonomous cyber defense systems that will definitely should definitely act as a countermeasure for antagonist and adversarial AI powered powerful distributed denial of service attacks and polymorphic malware obfuscation, and also compelling and transubstantiating phishing scams. So it may very well one day protect advanced modular portable battlefield management systems against APT based cyber electronic warfare. That day, we were reading in some military defense journal that signals intelligence has become a cyber activity. As we all know, that cyber is the only domain that interacts and interferes with air, land, space, and maritime operations. So we get to see tremendous earth-shaking innovations in military, cyberspace, defense, intelligence, industrial complex, and it can be observed, and analysts can clearly attribute this to the last decade or so. Most analysts have been attributing this development to the last decade. So now, if we task machine-based generative intelligence to infuse zombie nouns in this seemingly lucid conversation and make it needlessly dense, from a human reader's perspective at least, we may ambiguously conclude that generative AI is locomoting on the boundaries of self-awareness. If we perceive that machine on on our perception that machine-based generative intelligence can infuse zombie nouns into the seemingly apparently lucid conversation. So lastly, one may believe that we desperately need, okay, now this was all about generative AI, cyber threat intelligence domain, attributes and frameworks. So now, making the work of cyber analysts a little easier, AI automation in web development will be so essential. I mean, it is so essential for web development, especially when you convert PDF and presentation documents to web formats and HTML. See, the present state only allows document embeds, which do not, I mean, especially on your small mobile devices, it doesn't really, it's not really user friendly. You're reading rich PDF documents and presentations. So, what we need is native document conversation to HTML, which must support clickable hyperlinks and convert video links automatically into playable video embeds. So all a researcher or analyst or a developer has to do is just upload his document or presentation to a content management powerful platforms like WordPress and Drupal used by the White House and Medium used by NATO. So we these platforms can infuse AI into their systems where it will automatically populate documents as native in native web formats and HTML. So all a person has to do is get an account, subscribe to a service, and just upload the document. So rest will be taken care of. So that's what AI should be doing. So it will populate the content and resources appropriately in a predefined format, page wise, post wise, etc. etc. So that's all smart web development automation is all about. Don't know how much time it is going to take. I'm definitely not talking about document embeds. I mean, that's a whole lot of the plugins available for document embeds. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at native conversion, okay, where it becomes interactive web formats, uh, which can be crawled by bots and robots, and which and a whole lot of search engine optimization can search engine and social network integration can be facilitated. Therefore, finally summing up, we know that human intelligence, just a few just a minute or so maybe. So we know that human intelligence, psychic second sight abilities, they get influenced all the time by elementary subatomic particles and electromagnetic energy waves that are not a part of our deoxy, I mean our DNA at the protoplasm or cytoplasm level whatsoever. So the credit will never go to a human alone, never. So our consciousness and cognitive abilities are not our alone. Let's make this very clear. They get influenced all the time by imperceptible external factors and forces, even in isolation and transcendental states. So, as not much is known about the clearly in astronomy, in uranology, much is not known about the lion's share of energy and matter, dark energy, dark matter observed through the prism of the tesseract. When you observe it through your powerful telescopes, and subconsciously, when you observe it through the prism and the tesseract of elementary subatomic particles, we know that it most likely operates in the circumpolar macrocosm. I mean, the energy and matter, the lion's share of energy and matter in the macrocosm operating in the circumpolar macrocosm, made up of the elementary subatomic particles, majority of which the lion's share we do not know. Some say 70% is unknown. So, therefore, the philosophy that one can achieve infinite heights if one does not concern oneself with who gets the credit for accomplishment of a work related project, acquiring more organization specific oriented approach. Thank you.
I just quickly wanted to highlight a key thought that's been crossing my mind for a very long time, where we've been seeing a whole lot of new capabilities, domain intelligence, specific capabilities in the field of cyber intelligence, open source intelligence, those analyzing the policies and frameworks with respect to open source intelligence and cyber intelligence protocols and paradigms, and operationalizing these new capabilities and new technologies in the domain and in the intelligence framework. So we see a whole lot of new white papers, and, reports, and publications, and documentations, and presentations. Emerging in the public domain as a result of this new development, and also new development vis-a-vis the convergence of this available technology that we've just seen and that we are all seeing. I mean, the cyber intelligence, defense industrial cyber intelligence, cyberspace complex, the defense industrial complex is observing and measuring the development of, and looking at the amazing metrics, the astronomical rate at which it's evolving, and the innovations. So yes, so because we see this as a result of the convergence of cyber intelligence and open source intelligence with artificial intelligence, which, as we all know, is locomoting on the horizon of self-awareness, and by virtue of which we are going to very soon see the ushering of artificial general intelligence systems. Then we will see the new development and evolution of autonomous cyber defense systems, and the integration of this capability into the intrusion detection systems, smart intrusion detection systems, and end-to-end threat intelligence systems, and endpoint detection and response. And so all these capabilities combined, and a whole lot of other relevant vertical field specific capabilities that is available. So we are going to see an integration. It will be like a melting pot, a one point solution where everything will be provided end to end. SOAR, SAM, everything will be integrated. The system information, event management, and everything else, orchestration platforms, everything will be integrated. It's like one point solution, and then this one point solution augmented by the incredible capabilities of artificial intelligence systems, self-aware systems. So there's a whole lot of learning, machine level learning taking place by these large learning language models, both online and offline. So now, as we all know, that it prefers well-written, there are a whole lot of different formats which it prefers, but then simplifying the content management, the data ingestion. If we rank the data ingestion categories, the first would be very well written, simple, concise, well paraphrased, well paragraphed, linear abstracts, notes, a textual linear representation of ideas and content. That would be number one. Number two would be the whole information pre-processed information in neat and well organized, scientifically coherent and mathematically juxtaposition of the data, the knowledge, the derived intelligence, mathematically juxtaposed and scientifically coherent, represented in tabular arrays and grids. All right, tabular arrays and grids, which we all know is the basis of all spreadsheets and for complex mathematical, trigonometric, all other forms of scientific and arithmetic computations and calculations, and then also relational database management systems. So this is number two. So we're just taking the two of its favorites for data ingestion. This is what it prefers in order, okay, in order of importance. So now, if the incredible content management distribution platforms which have been integrating the AI capabilities into their platforms, like WordPress, used by some of the most popular space exploration, space research international organizations, and also like organizations like, and also government organizations like, like the White House, and let's say Medium, let's also mention Medium, which is being used by NATO, military alliance organizations, multinational and polynational military alliance organizations. So we see that these capabilities are developing in the ecosystem, and it's going to be a huge melting pot of when it comes to publishing and when it comes to blogging and vlogging. So the thought that's been crossing my mind all this while and over a couple of months was that if we could provide the analysts, the cyber intelligence analysts from the military intelligence domain and from the cyber intelligence and cyber commands centers, and from the national security agencies, from the computer emergency response teams all over the world, these large corporations and organizations, if we could provide them with the capability wherein these web publishing, blogging, large content management and distribution systems like WordPress, Drupal, Medium, Blogger, then Substack, okay, Hub Pages, okay, then we have a lot of other very popular platforms out there. So I mean, that's how the information gets disseminated and propagated and utilized and consumed and analyzed and processed by think tanks and analysts all over the world. So now if these platforms can provide a native upload tool wherein an analyst or a publisher or a researcher or a think tank could just upload the spreadsheet or a document or a presentation in all the popular formats out there, and free and open source platforms like LibreOffice, then we have Microsoft, then we have Google set of document formats. So provide native compatibility with all these formats, and then one could just use the upload tool integrated into the application on all the popular mobile ecosystems, both iOS and Android, and also at the web level. I mean, in the form of like progressive web apps, like since some platforms like WordPress, they do support progressive web apps on the mobile ecosystems as well. So, and then we have the desktop operating systems, and then we have some like WordPress also has legacy software option available, wherein you can just upload the where you can publish your posts using the legacy software, and then the progressive web apps through the browsers. So all these content management and distribution platforms, if they could just provide one simple upload tool wherein one can just upload a document, they already have those tools integrated into their platforms. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I've been thinking about. What I've been thinking about precisely is once you upload these documents in the form of presentation spreadsheets, because we need spreadsheets for a whole lot of machine learning to take place. So we need those tabular arrays and grid format documents wherein analysts all over the world can pre-process and make content and information and knowledge, derived knowledge, mathematically juxtaposed and scientifically coherent, and we could just upload them onto these platforms. And then the magic begins. The magic begins where these documents will, by virtue of the integration of artificially intelligent systems baked into the content management distribution system. So now they're no longer content management and distribution systems, they're artificially intelligent, smart content management distribution systems, smart WordPress, smart Drupal, smart Medium, for that matter, smart Hub Pages, so on and so forth, and a whole lot of others. I mean, smart GoDaddy, okay, and then will automatically identify, detect, categorize the document, text, and the ingredients of the document, the abstracts, the textual representation, the linear textual abstracts, and then differentiate the hyperlinks, the web hyperlinks, the video links, in order to embed it with providing clickable media controls. Like, for example, it's a YouTube link, so it'll automatically embed the YouTube link into the post. So first, this can be done through different means. I mean, you can issue a predefined format for the documents to be, for the artificially intelligent content management distribution system to identify, to segregate, and to publish. So we will see native conversion of these documents, popular word processing documents, spreadsheets, PDF documents, and PPTs, presentations, into web smart and web specific HTML formats for search engine optimization and social media integration, for social network services integration. And then so what I'm talking about is a native conversion from these popular document formats, Word, spreadsheet, presentation, PDF, to native web formats like HTML on the cloud, in the cloud, okay, through the upload tool. The documents gets uploaded onto the platform via the web app, the progressive web app, or a native app, Android, from the Android Play Store, or the Android Play Store, or the Apple Store, via the app, or via the browser through the progressive web app. And once it's uploaded, it gets identified, segregated, the contents get segregated, the ingredients of the document, they get segregated, and it gets published in the form of posts, in the form of pages. So then it'll, I mean, because we're talking about AI automation, right? We're talking about AI automation and AI tools and resources available, and integration, and AI being baked into these smart capabilities, these web development capabilities. So now all a publisher, all a researcher, a think tank, an analyst, a cyber intelligence analyst, or a military defense analyst will have to do is focus on the research work, focus on the analysis work, get the rich documents, the presentations, these mathematically juxtaposed and scientifically coherent spreadsheets in one place, pre-process all the information, get the documents ready, and just publish it, and that's it. So you will not really have to worry about the web formats and the organization of your websites, because it will all be taken care of automatically. All you need to do is work on your focus on your research and your documentation, and then just publish it. So because we see a whole lot of websites which provide you with the capability of being able to install the website as a progressive web app. There's a trigger which says that you want to install it as a progressive web app, or you want to download it via the download the app if it's available on the Play Store or the App Store, or maybe you want to download this particular web page as a PDF. I mean, we could just print it, that's okay, but then sometimes it doesn't really, it spoils the it really takes the visually appealing website with all the rich features and animation and embeds. It just it just disorganizes the whole thing, and it doesn't render the way it's rendered on a web intelligent HTML format. So once you print it as a document, so that vanishes. I mean, that disappears. That there is a lot of discrepancy in the two formats. I mean, they don't look the same anymore. I mean, the content is there. Yes, of course, the content is there. Where will the content go? The content is there. But when you look at the web format, the HTML format, and the printed PDF, the web page printed as a PDF. I mean, there's a whole lot of difference that could be, a very apparent difference that can be identified. So all I'm saying is, so this native, so even if platforms which embed documents, like on the whole lot of plugins on WordPress and other content management distribution, wherein they embed these documents, like if it's uploaded on Scribd, or it's a Google Doc, or on, let's say, OneDrive, it embeds it. Okay, but then on your small mobile devices, on your small screens, the problem is that you'll have to do a whole lot of panning and zooming, and it's no longer visually appealing, no longer appealing to the eyes. I mean, it's no longer, it's not appetizing anymore, to consume. So we look at options to download the document and read it later, maybe transfer it to a bigger screen, maybe a laptop or a desktop, and then read it over there. So the point being that if this could be provided, wherein these documents will be automatically natively converted, these popular document formats, both open source, closed source, automatically converted into web formats like HTML. So, and the ingredients and the contents will get segregated and differentiated. The textual abstracts, representation of content via linear textual abstracts, real linear notes, they will be segregated and identified. Then the hyperlinks will be differentiated and classified. Then we'll have the video links will be identified that these are the video links, and they'll be automatically embedded. And the web links, which provide an option to be embedded so that it looks like interactive and a little more information than just the link. Link is very brief information available, so this gets embedded as a website where some extra 2-3 more lines are available for the reader to get information. WordPress does all this. WordPress has been doing this all the time, and especially after the new web interactive formats that they've launched, I think the P2P formats that they've launched, so it's become really easy. But then all I'm saying is, converting documents, popular documents, natively to web-rich HTML formats over the cloud, through artificially intelligent, through the integration of artificial intelligence systems. I don't think it'll be that difficult for machine learning to identify links, web links from. They do that all the time. These chatbots and these applications like OpenAI and Google Gemini and Microsoft Copilot, they can clearly distinguish between linear textual abstracts, notes, and hyperlinks, web hyperlinks, and video links. So video links will get automatically converted into playable media with media controls. So this level of smart automation in web development is going to change the landscape, and is going to speed up the process and save precious time. So we are ultimately not web developers. But all bloggers and vloggers and publishers and researchers and think tanks also double up as content management distribution systems enthusiasts, because we have to learn a whole lot of how to do a whole lot of publishing work, digital publishing works. We have to learn and grow. That's all right. But then looking at the timeline and the rate at which the reports are coming into the public domain, the rate at which the intelligence is compounding, and these reports, and of course, as I already mentioned, with the integration of artificial intelligence with cybersecurity, with cyber intelligence, with open source intelligence, which is now around 90% of what comprises in the intelligence-driven landscape. So if this capability is there, so the fraternity, the cyber intelligence, the military defense analysis fraternity, and the those focusing on the policies and frameworks will have to do is just focus on their analytical work, on their research work, and pre-processing and organizing the documents for publishing, for uploading, and everything else the artificially intelligent content management distribution system will take care of. That's it. If there is any such capability available anywhere, or any service available providing this level of smartness, we'd be glad if someone could just let the algorithm know so that we get to know about it. Anyways, thank you.